Yeah, so again, if you go back to 1948 and the foundation of the NHS, one of the big changes has been in terms of technology, and that ranges from drugs to imaging technologies to surgical interventions and lots of other things besides. So, for example, if you were in the early years of the NHS, that was when antibiotics were just starting to really be produced in a mass market way. So it was, if you were dealing with a very difficult infection, they might have to work quite hard to identify an antibiotic that would have worked. Now, eventually, that resulted in really effective antibiotics. And probably, again, going back to the Ferrari, we started to mistreat them by using too much of them, and now we have this issue of antibiotic resistance. Another series of technologies that have made a huge difference have been imaging technologies. So think of your CAT scans, your PET scans, and especially MRI. These are really sophisticated technologies. They provide physicians with really important information in terms of, if there's a cancerous tumor, what does it look like, how to deal with it, all these sorts of things. And they also require people to staff them that are expertly trained in terms of how to use them. So we have access to these imaging technologies that are doing a huge amount to deal with really serious health conditions. The issue is that when you have all these things to hand, they cost money. So, in a way, expectations rise in terms of what the NHS can do with all these great technologies. And again, it's an area where we really need to think of, okay, well, if we prevent some more of this disease, then these great technologies can be used to better, or can be put to better use. And then the final one, I mean, there's other examples, but surgeries, laser surgeries and all the sophisticated things that surgeons can do these days are really absolutely remarkable, and would, I imagine surgeons 75 years ago would be astounded in terms of what can be done these days in terms of surgery. And so, these have been really tremendous developments. And I think that in terms of going into the future, with some of these technologies, we'll get more and more advances. These days there's a lot of interest in nanotechnologies, fighting certain diseases, and different sort of drugs that are very targeted to individuals. So there's lots of exciting developments in terms of technology and how it can help us when we get ill. Yeah, definitely. That aspect has been a real improvement. Surgery goes back an awful long ways, and I think surgeons had their ways of figuring things out before MRIs were available, but certainly the availability of these sorts of technologies has made a huge difference. And I think one of the things that it allows, if you combine, say, the MRI scanning imaging technology with some of the use of lasers, for example, a lot of it takes out some of the human error that can come into it as well. So yeah, I'm sure surgeons from 1948 would be really amazed to see what could be done.